smash the like button, and subscribe.
Okay, why do you support Trump?
I just like his stance on how he views putting more over, I'd say, Americans. Obviously, the shit in Iran right now doesn't go along with this, but for the most part, through 8 years, I'd say his stance on putting America first and focusing on us over, say, immigrants, shit like that.
Okay, and can you name one material benefit that he's done for the American people?
All the ICE stuff, out on ICE.
Yeah, how does that
and,
materially benefit you?
Well, me individually, it doesn't. As a country, it keeps ICE,
It hasn't
obviously.
materially benefited you at all?
Well, I mean, in day-to-day life, I haven't gotten approached by one of these illegal immigrants that go do dumb shit, like kill people, all that good stuff. That's why we need to get them out. You know what I mean?
Well, like
But
undocumented immigrants are multiple times less likely to commit these particular types of crimes. Plus, if we provided a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants who have not committed a violent crime or bad crime, it would quite literally make it easier for law enforcement to focus on those that have committed violent crimes and bad crimes rather than just people who are here coming for a better life.
right. So, and I have no problem with coming here and doing it the right way. It's just the people that break over here. And honestly, I have no problem because I've worked with an illegal immigrant, like just construction, and he wants to cause no harm to anybody. But the people that come over here and do it the wrong way and then do wrong things on top of already just doing it illegally, that's the thing I have a problem with.
You want people to go the right way? Well, then what you're not understanding is that the legal process right now takes way too long. So what we need to do is we need to make the legal process go quicker and provide that quicker legal process for undocumented immigrants who are already in the country who haven't committed a violent crime or bad crime to ensure that the most amount of people are vetted as possible. Because right now, when you keep them under the threat of mass deportation, right, it limits them from identifying themselves to authorities. So if you do provide them this pathway to citizenship, more people will identify themselves to authorities, and it will make it easier for us to be able to address the conditions of the border in the most safe way possible. Like, genuinely, like, why wouldn't we do that?
I understand what you're saying, but and I understand that making it quicker is obviously more optimal, just because who wants to wait 7-10 years to do it the right way when you could just have a faster process that they can go through. But then you look at I don't know, good portion of those people that come in and just plead asylum, or yeah, and then it's like you have however many, I don't have numbers, but that huge amount of people that just want to come in and be like, well, asylum, and then suddenly they're allowed here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like that should be a process that we have because we want to assure that people in circumstances in which they need it get access to it.
Well, sure, I get that, but what if it's somebody that just doesn't want to, say Mexico, for example?
So someone who wouldn't make it through make the legal process for asylum go quicker, it will disincentivize people with invalid asylum claims from coming to our country because they'll get to stay in the country for less long.
Okay. Because, all right. Because I just feel like it's not like, if you don't like the state you're living in and wherever you're at, that's not the United States, then you can do it the right way, but you can't just cheat. I feel like it's cheating almost, unless you have like an actual good reason.
It's cheating? You mean just because like they get to come to the country quicker?
Yes, yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Well, like just think about it this way, right? If we're talking about people who paid for their children's school, K through 12, before we made it free public universities, would they be able to say the same thing?
Hold on, can you say that again? So people,
yeah, for people who paid for their kids' schooling, K through 12, prior to us making it free at the point of service, public K through 12, would they be able to say the same thing?
Well, that was like a countrywide. Okay, so that's like a countrywide thing. You're saying you're trying to say it's like kind of the same parallel to immigration, obviously just on a bigger scale.
Well, the point that I'm making is that just because we're making it quicker for people or better for people in the future, right, doesn't necessarily mean that people got scammed, right, by our system in the past. Just because we made the system better for people in the future, right? We want to progress our society, right?
Well, sure, I get that. Because, I mean, obviously, if you're 70 years old and you went through the whole process doing it legally, and then your grandkid gets it done a lot faster than you, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean?
No,
Because like
yeah,
due to
like
rule
the point we're
changes.
trying to make is that like yes, we made it quicker for immigrants now, and it wasn't as quick for immigrants in the past. But that's the point of fixing these systems is that we have to change the conditions and make them better off. If we didn't do that, well, then we would never progress. So just because it took longer for people in the past doesn't mean it should always take that long.
No, and I get that. I agree with like making it quicker. I just have an issue with. I guess it's more over people that are against the deportation of the people that came illegally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think someone should be deported if they haven't committed a violent crime or bad crime. Now, my position's different from the typical Democratic Party. The typical Democratic Party is arguing criminalize undocumented entry, just make the legal process go quicker. I'm arguing I think the best way to address this would be providing a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants who have not committed a violent crime or bad crime, and then making the legal process quicker. I think that's the best way to address the conditions at the border.
Yeah. So if they're here illegally and they're not doing anything wrong, because I would say a decent portion is just coming here for work. You know what I mean? Like they're not coming here for anything other than just to better their lives. But then there's the other portion who are here for not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you'd be able to identify people who are here for bad reasons to a greater extent if a greater proportion of people who are in the country are documented fit that description, because people who are coming who haven't committed a violent crime or bad crime have been given a pathway to citizenship.
Sure. Yeah. So I guess just like the point I'm trying to make is, or I was moreover like curious on your stance on you kind of just told me, but deportation of illegals. So you think they should only be deported if they've done a crime?
A violent crime or a bad enough crime to deport them. Yeah.
So, but if they're here illegally and they're not doing anything wrong, it's cool.
Yeah, I think they should give them a pathway to citizenship if they haven't committed a violent crime or bad crime.
Yeah, but shouldn't they do it the right way though? Even though it takes a while. I mean, I get that. I guess it's like luck of the draw. Like if
Sure,
me
but
and you
I
both
don't
grew
care
up,
to punish them.
well, I wouldn't say like don't throw them in a damn concentration camp. And
Well, I don't think they should be deported either. I don't think they should be removed from the country. If they would have, especially because the legal process takes so long, they probably would have gone through the legal process if it was a lot quicker, right?
well, yeah, but that then again,
So then, like, I just like we're harming people that would have otherwise gone through said legal process. Like if we had it under my system,
so it's either do it legally and it takes a while, or come here and risk being harmed when you could have just done it the right way, even though it takes a while, which I understand.
it's more
Yeah, that
costly
sucks.
to engage in deportation with less benefit.
Okay.
And immigration's good. It's not a bad thing. It's not a net
No, I
loss. It's a
completely
net
agree.
benefit.
I agree with that as long as it's done in the right way, which, I mean, there's obviously multiple opinions of the right way and who's here and who's allowed to be here according to us, you know what I mean?
Okay, I'm confused what your point is. Do you think immigration's been vastly beneficial to our society?
I mean, it's not like we got people that are coming in and making a huge difference. I mean, I'm all
Yeah,
for
we do.
immigration. Who?
Yeah, did you know over the past 30 years, immigrants have decreased the deficit by $14.5 trillion, according to the Cato Institute?
Deficit of what?
The federal deficit?
Oh yeah, sorry, half asleep. How so? Just
By
by doing
increasing
what?
GDP and tax revenue and productivity.
All right, I was unaware of that. But because I mean, most of the things I've read and things I've seen, it's all about just it's either something bad or it's just people that come here to work.
Yeah, because people are fear-mongering about immigrants.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All right,
seriously,
I'm not.
like, what's the big deal? I think that the evidence indicates that immigration's very effective and that people are being fear-mongered into scapegoating immigrants for problems that aren't caused by them in order to distract away from broader economic issues of who's actually the problem. Who's actually the problem? It's going to be the richest billionaires that are not paying their fair share, who are paying a lower effective tax rate than working class people.
So
That's what there's a distraction from.
are you
So
are
they
you pro
absolutely
like
use immigrants and trans people and different types of communities in order to be able to distract, the vast majority of people from addressing the issues in terms of access to basic resources and how people aren't paying into the system and how there is a system that benefits the richest Americans and is incredibly corrupt. I think that that limits our ability to actually address things meaningfully because people are so focused on the fear mongering and propaganda that the Republican Party is spewing about trans people and immigrants.
Okay, so are you pro like tax the rich and give to the poor?
Yeah, I think that who's going to be paying, I'd rather that rich people pay into the system than people who need it, right? Like the system's supposed to provide for people in need, right? And inevitably providing for people in need, it still inevitably helps the rich people because the rich people will produce products that everyone buys. So there's a natural trickle up element within the economy. So that if you tax the rich like a lot, you still have a functioning society. But if you were to get all that tax revenue from working class people or people in need, you're not going to have as much of a functioning society. Not as many people are going to be able to buy the products to keep the economy flowing and functioning.
But the rich people have worked for all their wealth, so why would they just be
So is
happy?
everyone else.
Well, half the people their half their money is taken from the rich and given to them. They haven't made that; it's given to them by the government.
So yeah, I mean, I do think that that makes sense. If you make a bunch of money, you pay back to society. That's talking about paying your fair share.
Well, yeah, I think everybody's fair share should be even.
That's
Doesn't
I
matter
just
if
think
I
that's
make
just,
$1
like
million.
that's ridiculous because we have to spend different amounts on cost of living.
So if me and you both go to college, get the same degree, and then something happens, and say you become a millionaire and I become some janitor and I make jack shit a year.
I should pay a way higher percentage than you.
No.
Did you think I'm going to be scared of saying that?
No. I mean, I've watched your shit for a while, and I knew you'd say something along those lines.
Yeah.
I just don't think like
Because I really do care about my society. I really love this country. Like, explain to me why conservatives, if they say they love this country so much, why are they so unwilling that if they became so well off to give back to the society in which they love so much?
I don't think it's unwilling to give back to the society. I think it's unwilling to give back to the people that are just waiting for the handout. If it's people who are actually trying and
This
actually
isn't just
need
people
it,
waiting for hand. We're talking about providing basic services people need: healthcare, education, childcare, right? Sustaining families, building up those families, maintaining, right, like our society as a whole, ensuring that we have a good educational base. I think that those things are incredibly important, and that's giving back to society, right? So again, conservatives say they love this country so much, say that they're so patriotic, but whenever the tax bill comes around, they act like they can't give back to society anymore. And I'm not even talking about giving up more than half of your income at the highest levels of income. I'm talking about like, yeah, you should pay up to 50% when you're making millions of dollars. It's not a complicated thing. Like, that's giving back to your society. That's the society that built you up to where you can make that much in the very first place. You should absolutely ensure that everyone's taken care of. And you know what's going to be crazy? You're still going to be rich. You're still going to be well off. You're still going to be okay. But you want to know what? More children are fed. More people have access to the healthcare that they need. Less people die because they're poor. You know what I mean? Like, that's a better society to me. Oh my God, the rich people had an extra percentage taken off. No! I'm happy that the children are fed. I'm happy that the people don't die. I think that matters a lot more in the whole scheme of things than a little bit extra in the bank account that they probably won't even use or probably won't even impact their life meaningfully.
but it's not a little bit extra. It's damn near half. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah.
So if I'm making $1 million a year, it turns into 500,000, and that 500,000 is just going to all those reasons you just said. Whereas I could put it back into society in numerous other ways.
Yeah, and what way would you meaningfully put it back into society? And I mean, even so, right, I think that tax system should go up over time. We're talking about for the richest Americans, millions and millions and millions of dollars a year. Yeah, it should be upwards of that 50% number. Getting down, though, obviously going down in terms of those things, right, we would probably taper it down between the 40 to 50% range. But yeah, at that level of income, you're going to be paying around that much. And that's called giving back to the society that provided for you. And is that a bad thing? No. You still have that much in a year. You're going to be fine.
But how did society give back to me?
Because it produced the
Or build me
conditions
up.
it produced the conditions where you can make that in the first place.
But the people I'm giving back to had probably more than likely little to no impact on how I became what I was.
I
saying
heavily
I've been
disagree with you.
A rich American. I'm 18 years old. I'm a freshman in college. I'm fixing to get a class.
Whether you work for a business and that business relies upon the demand of people, or you start a business yourself and you rely upon the demand of people, right? You're going to inevitably make money because society is doing better. So if you prop up society, that inevitably helps you. Hell, you benefited from society. You went to public education, probably. You use public roads. You
Well,
use infrastructure and services that exist within our system. Again, which produce the conditions where you could even make that wealth in the first place. So yeah, I do think that you should pay that much back, and you should be okay with paying that much back, because it inevitably creates the stability within our society relevant towards producing the conditions where you're profitable in the first place.
I understand that angle and the whole supply demand. I'm selling this to you. You have to buy it no matter what you make, and you're making me money. Okay, I understand that.
It's
I
about
understand
producing
your
the
angle.
conditions within a society to create stable conditions where you can make a lot in the first place. I understand it seems like, oh, I have to pay so much more in that everyone else doesn't have to because I'm just making more. I'm being punished for making more. Well, that's just inevitably the better conditions for society, because I'd rather be taxing those that have so much already, that have gotten that from the society that exists in the first place, rather than taking it from those that are in need, that inevitably need to be helped up by the system anyway. Because I want to create that social mobility for everyone.
Okay.
So, like, again, compare the societies we'd have, right? We have a society where more people have access to healthcare, more people have childcare, more people have housing affordability, more people are fed, right? Where billionaires are taxed at a slightly higher rate, or not, we'll go with a way higher rate, right? Or we have a society that billionaires are taxed at a significantly lower rate, and we don't provide those things, and people are disenfranchised. Do you really think in that society those billionaires will decide to provide more into the system privately, just out of their own love for people? Or do you think that
Goodwill.
they would provide more through the context of a system of taxation?
Well, you have to through system taxation, and you would think that I would just take my family for example. They obviously they hate when it's tax time because they get half their shit taken and given to like all those things you just said. But there would be plenty of there's always plenty of times where we're finding ways to give back to the less fortunate.
Yeah, so then, like, why don't you just see that as an extension of them?
Because it's forced, and I think it's moreover, where is my money
But that's
going?
kind of like a
other than
duty that we have in society, you know? The same way that, like, you have to, like, take care of yourself, you know, as a person. There are certain types of things that you have to do to ensure that you're taken care of, right? So that you go to work, you get ready, you know, like every day. Those are things we have to do, right?
For sure.
So I'm just saying, like, taxes are kind of just like a part of society, something that we have to do to ensure that things are stable and good. That's kind of like the point I'm making. It's like adulting, you know? It's kind of sucks. You have to pay for it, but we have to pay for it as adults. And the less that some people pay for it, the more that they evade taxes because they think that they're so much better than everyone else, the more that everyone else has to pay that bill. And inevitably, the richest Americans feel like they're so much better insofar as that they don't have to pay these things, right? And they don't have to pay to the system. That's why the richest billionaires, I'm talking about the richest billionaires, they pay a lower effective tax rate than the working class. I'm not right now even talking about the people at the highest levels of not even the highest levels of income, but higher levels of income, right, who make their money through income. They pay relatively a lot through the context of our income tax structure. I'm talking about the people who pay specifically capital gains. I'm talking about the people specifically who pay lower effective tax rates than that, who are trying to evade taxes, right?
Sure.
That's who I'm kind of talking about to a greater extent. If your
No, I
family's
mean,
paying 50% of their income, we're already telling you that they're paying a fair share. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of ways
They're
to
not
get
the people
away
evading
and
taxes
avoid it.
like everyone
Yeah.
else. Like you should be mad at the people who are evading taxes because it puts more of the burden on your family.
Yeah, but I mean, you evade taxes in plenty of different ways. I mean, I don't know. There's always what I've been around in my family is a decent amount of like finding ways to lessen the blow from taxes each year. You know what I mean? I mean, when December rolls around, let's buy a new Bobcat or something like that. You know what I mean? Just for write-offs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it has to be relevant to your business. And also,
Of
I just want to
course.
let you know like how write-offs work. They reduce your taxable income. It's not just free money.
Oh no.
Yeah, so
But I
like,
mean,
you save whatever your top marginal tax rate is on that
yeah,
purchase. So
absolutely.
like buying I just want to know, especially going on I don't know how a Bobcat would be relevant to your business, but
Instruction.
Oh, construction? I'm not quite sure. I thought that was maybe like a certain type of car. I apologize. I'm not very
No,
familiar.
Bobcat. No, Bobcats. Like you see that. You ever pass like a construction site? And you see those big ass yellow
Okay, well then that
machines.
makes sense. Yeah, like of course. Doesn't
Yeah,
that
or I
you
mean,
know what that just created then? That level of taxation that you have then created the incentive for you to invest back into your firm. Does that make sense? Towards something that then can produce more. So now because you
yeah.
guys have that new Bobcat, you can produce more within your business. It makes you more productive.
Well, yes. Yeah, it's always nice to have new toys, but I'm just saying.
Well, it's not a new toy. That increases the productivity of your business, right?
Sure. I mean, whether it's a need or just something to write off. Yes, it does.
Yeah, so like that's why those types of write-offs exist for business expenses such as that. And the marginal tax rate being higher created an incentive where you bought that, whereas you might not have otherwise done so.
Sure. All right. Well, not gonna lie, I got class at 1. Gonna go
Okay.
study some calculus. It
Alrighty.
was great talking to you. Are you gonna be live tonight? Because I have some more points I'd love to
I'll be
speak
alive
on.
until like 1:32 2 p.m. my time. It's 9:30 right now for me.
Damn, where you live, Cali?
Mhm.
Oh, for real? I'm all the way in North Carolina right now, buddy.
So you're East Coast, yeah. Well, yeah, I'll be on for hours, so you'll probably already be done with your thing, so you can come back.
All
All
right,
right,
perfect.
appreciate you coming out.
Yep.